When we're not pushed outside of our box, when a lot of times we never really test our capabilities outside of that box. And this environment has definitely pushed us all out of our box.
It's Aaron Lovett, and I'm here today with Jamonn. Jamonn is with the Smyrna Independent Merchants Association. Jamonn, introduce yourself. Tell us about SIMA.
Yeah, again, Jamonn Brady with the Smyrna Independent Merchants Association. We are a collective of small businesses in Smyrna. Our goal, our mission, our objective is to raise awareness of the small business community here within our town, and to effectively shift buying habits from our community members, from the members of our community, to think more about the impact of buying goods and services from local businesses.
Okay, what is the impact of buying goods and services from local businesses?
Well, from a couple of standpoints. From a pure economic standpoint, when you shop with a local business, close to 67% of the money that you spend with that business stays within your community, versus buying at a big box retailer or a chain of sorts, where only roughly 43% of that stays within your local community, or buying on Amazon, where none of that money stays in your local community for the most part. That's the pure financial side of it from an economic standpoint, but also those local business owners are your neighbors. It's their kids that are running around in a neighborhood that you see. It's their dollars for a lot of the organizations that help support our youth organizations, our sports teams, and things of that nature. So from that standpoint, there's that as well.
Okay, and you are the 2020 president, right?
Yeah, newly elected president for 2020. Yes.
Is 2020 turning out to be what you thought it would be?
Wow, it started out on that path, and obviously now it's way beyond anything I could have ever imagined. It's a really crazy time we're in right now. It'll be really interesting to look back on this in days of the future as one of those events, one of those once in a lifetime type events, hopefully, that we look back on, like 9/11 or the Great Depression and things like that we look back on, where these are moments that kind of changed the trajectory of our country.
You've probably had some pretty interesting conversations with SIMA members, local business owners. Can you tell us what's out there, what's going on as far as how the coronavirus situation is affecting Smyrna business?
Right. Well, being a local business person myself, I know for our family business, it's been a direct impact in that we run a gymnastics, tumbling, and cheerleading gym called Summit Sports Center, and we are closed. There's no business coming through the door, and hasn't been for the past 2.5 weeks or so, and that will continue through the end of the government suggestion that we should not have our business open. So that's one thing. Yeah, that's one side of things, where we're having to kind of adjust the way we do business. So we've been offering online classes and have allowed people to get onto Facebook and do Facebook Live videos with us doing classes basically virtually. So that's one way. Another way is with the soccer program that I work with, Stones River Football Club, doing videos and doing virtual classes with my players to try to stay in touch with them and keep them working and keep them playing. And so yeah, that's some ways that I've seen directly just in our household, and then just talking to other business members. Again, it's adjusting. For restaurants, it's being able to provide a menu that's conducive to takeout, and setting up a takeout system that a lot of them didn't have in place before, maybe even delivery systems. Some of our other members are in the necessary business category, so they're still operating somewhat business as usual, but with people being confined to their homes. Even a lot of those businesses are seeing slower traffic.
Yeah, I would say that adjusting is the key word for any business owner these days.
Yeah,
My heart goes out to you and to any of these businesses that have counted on getting groups of people together.
right,
Oh,
right.
the gyms,
Yes,
any educational type thing, any restaurant, coffee shops. Oh
yeah,
my goodness, that's
yeah.
tough.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Part of this though is an opportunity for businesses to grow from a standpoint of how things work and what they're capable of doing. When we're not pushed outside of our box, when a lot of times we never really test our capabilities outside of that box, and this environment has definitely pushed us all out of our box. And so it's been interesting and informative, and in some cases, again, outside of the financial hardships that is causing, great to see businesses adapt and grow and evolve. And we'll be potentially stronger on the other side of this if we all survive it.
We'll all survive it. I have no doubt about it. Talking about those kinds of adjustments and growing, I'm seeing businesses that, for example, restaurants or Carpe comes to mind, that had done catering and
Yeah.
had offered that kind of as a sideline before, and now that is what it is. That
Yes.
you can order a week's worth of food, pick it
Right.
up, and your family's taken care of.
Right.
They're prepared to do that kind
Right.
of thing, but it has taken this environment.
Right.
It's caused them to grow in that way. Is that
Right.
what an example of what you're talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean that's spot on. I mean, when this is over, I think there's a lot of people that will hope to be able to continue to use places like that in that vein, and a little bit outside of the traditional way that they've done business. Now that they have been exposed to these new ways of doing business.
A client of mine was asking if what I thought, going forward in real estate, if we were always going to be doing the virtual tours and the Facebook stuff that we've been doing more lately, and if it's changed my business. And part of the answer is, well, first, it hasn't really changed my business because I've always done that stuff anyway.
Right.
But two, yeah, I really do. I think that we will always go back to being, face to face when possible, walking
Yes.
through a property when possible.
Yes.
But we're getting used to this video conference thing, and we're
Yes.
getting used to the 360 tours and things like
Yes.
that. So those will be incorporated back into the regular plan of business, regular marketing strategies going forward. I think.
No, I agree with you completely. I mean, I think some of the organizations and whether it's from a business standpoint or even in the case of like SIMA, we have meetings and such, and those things are being done now via this type of venue, this type of vein. And I definitely foresee that being something that's a lot more commonplace because it was something that a lot of people didn't really think about doing. And now it's the option. And I was like, well, that was easy. Have it set up and it wasn't a big deal. So, if we can't all get together in one spot, maybe not push meetings back, to the next day or the next week or whatever, let's go in and make it happen and just get everybody in however we can.
It's funny how you can mentally resist something, make it so hard in your mind as long as it's an option not to. And then when it's not an option, it's like, oh, this was easy.
That wasn't bad. Yeah. Band-Aids ripped off. Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jamonn, do you have any suggestions for where we could be going or what we could be doing, how we can be interacting in trying to go about life in the current situation?
Yeah. So my suggestion would be a couple of things. If you are a small business that has not reached out to your banker, you need to do that and see what funding's available to you, either via low interest deferred payment loans or forgivable loans. Reach out to your banker right away. That would be one. On the other side of that, I would say if you are in need of goods or services, do your best to reach out to some of our smaller local businesses, because they are in need of your patronage right now. The easy thing to do is to hop in your car or whatever and go to a big box store. The easy thing to do it would be to support these bigger, well-known businesses. And I'm not saying to not go there at all, but I would say that now that most of us have a little bit more time than we're accustomed to, take an extra second and get to know your small businesses that are right here in your community, that are right down the street from you. Again, whose kids go to school with your kids and all that kind of good stuff, and find a way to patronize them as well during this time, because we really need it.
Yeah, I was thinking about how easy it is to call Jenny at Ace Hardware, for example.
Yes, absolutely.
Hardware, and say, hey, I need this, and can someone bring it out to me?
Yes, absolutely.
Leave it on the stoop outside. I'll come by and pick it up. That's so much easier. And no, there's no need to go, expose yourself, and don't be a vector. So, you don't have to do the big box thing when you've got a local alternative.
Absolutely. And that's a fantastic example of that, for sure. They're eager to help and are there for you. They're there for you. You got a plumbing issue or whatever, the part or piece that you need, you'll do a little research online, call them, and they can have that and have it ready and bring it out to you.
Well, in stores like that, but also a lot of other stores have a web presence. They've got a web, you can go online, you can search and see what they've got in the store already. So then it's just a matter of arranging the pickup, and that's easy to do because there's somebody going to answer the phone, and it's just easy.
Yes, absolutely, and safe.
Yeah, which is also important.
Yes.
Very good. Anything else that you want to tell the world about SIMA or about life in Smyrna?
No, other than, again, support your local businesses. We need you.
Okay.
Community, we need you.
Okay. Jamonn, thank you. I've got a few quick questions for you. These are more of a personal nature. I know you don't know what's coming, but I promise there's nothing rough. Let's see. Okay, so what's the best advice you've ever been given?
Probably, I would say I've been given a lot of really, really good advice over the years, but something that sticks out with me the most is biblical, that my mom would always say that everything happens for a reason.
Okay, very good. And your favorite local hangout?
Favorite local hangout would probably, I know this probably doesn't really count, but it does, is Rotary Park. I coach out there, but I love soccer. And so it is kind of a workplace as well, but even when I'm not working, I'm up there. So I would have to say Rotary Park.
Okay. All right. Very good. Do you have a favorite book or reading material?
Favorite book is probably, there's only really one book in my life that I've read multiple times, and it was The Greatest Salesman in the World.
The Log Mandino there.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. And do you have a hidden talent or a talent that you wish you had?
If I do have a hidden talent, it's still yet to be discovered. A talent I wish I had. I can't really think of one offhand.
You've got so many skills you don't even need.
I just don't offhand. When I think of that, I start thinking of like superhuman ability, like comic book type stuff. When I start,
I wish I could control time and space.
Right. No. There are many places I'd like to improve, but I don't know of a specific talent that I would.
Okay. Fair enough. I've never seen that question stump anyone before. That's it.
Stumped. Totally stumped on that one.
Okay, no problem. And then let's see. What advice do you have for the business owners in the area, or for just any of our local residents?
Advice for business owners and for residents would be just to support each other. This is an opportunity for us to come together. This is happening in my feeling is happening for us to take a breath and look outside of ourselves, whether that be with spending more time with our family if we're always consumed with our work, to spend a little bit more time with our family. And again, if we're always focused on our singular business getting better, this is an opportunity for us to shift that focus and focus a bit on others and how we can help others. A lot like you're doing here, which is fantastic work.
Oh, I'm definitely trying to get the word out about what's going on. It's my pleasure. Yeah, do you think that this causing us all to slow down a little bit, that there's a positive to that, to being able?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You ask about advice. Everything happens for a reason is one of those, but another that I live by is there's a little good and all bad and a little bad and all good. And so, when a situation like this comes up, there's definitely been a ton of positive in my life that's been a result of it. Obviously, amongst the things that seem to be detrimental at the moment, which are largely economic. There's been a lot of positive as well. A lot of family time spent, a lot of growth in relationships within the home as well as outside of the home.
Yeah, sorry about the interruption there. It's
no worries. We're all at home, so that's
exactly. That's what I tell my wife. I don't really worry about it. I mean, it kind of disrupts the audio sometimes, but the fact is, I've got a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 0-year-old.
Yes, right.
And so we're gonna have that stuff. It's okay.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. What's the best way for us to get in contact with you? I'll put details wherever.
Yeah. So, from a SIMA standpoint, I can be reached at president at simatn.org. And my cell phone number is 615-971-3985. Can be reached there.
Okay. Do you want me? It's okay to put that on?
Yeah, that's fine. Totally fine.
Okay. All right. And also for your home business, your personal business.
So from a business standpoint, you can find us at summitsportscenter.com, www.summitsportscenter.com. Also find us on Facebook under Summit Sports Center, where there's a ton of videos posted for youth exercise, adult exercise, soccer specific workouts, gymnastics specific workouts, blah blah. There's tons of video footage there for that. And from a soccer standpoint, at stonesriverfc.org is a place to find us as well, to find out more about soccer in our small town of Smyrna here.
Okay, awesome. I love it.